Yeah, boy! Now, in this episode, we are going to find out everything that's wrong with my beautiful, wrapped Nardo gray by myself G35. Let's get it! So first of all, the car looks beautiful, but it is my first time wrapping, so I did some mistakes along the way. Even in the industry of professionals, you're still gonna have problems because it is wrapped. That just comes with the territory. You have to deal with it. I'm just glad I know how to deal with it, so I don't have to go back to a shop that doesn't even want to deal with me after you pay. First, let's start off with my beautiful JDM grill. Now that grill, I love it. It's different. It looks like the sedan version, but on the coupe, which is weird. And I love it, but the fitment with the custom carbon fiber is not quite there yet, you know what I'm saying? It was better with the OEM hood, but with the carbon fiber, as is custom, it's not cut the same way as the OEM, so it does have some fitment issues. It's eating up the corners, which looks horrible. I'm gonna have to find a way to get it so it doesn't eat up the corners, so it doesn't look that bad. Let's move on straight to the GT3 front bumper, which I love. One of my favorite bumpers of all time. Now this bumper has some issues. It is bubbling up. Even though that I burnt the memory, it's still lifting up. And it's because the primer is stuck to the wrap, but the primer is off the actual bumper. I try to kill the memory. I try to do a lot of things and it's still bubbling up. So what I'm gonna have to end up doing is cutting up the top edge and redoing that with the proper primer that the poly people actually recommend, which I didn't use. I used like conventional, bonding plastic primer, and that's part of my problem. So a little recommendation, use the proper primer and you won't have that much problem with polyurethane because it's not easy to deal with. Now those dots you see on the top of the bumper, that's the actual primer gunked up because I had bought some wrap glue and I put it on top of the radiator support and it fell all over the wrap, all over the front bumper, all over my clothes. It was a disaster. I didn't film it because I was pissed off. I let it dry and the next day, but everything was gunked up, so I just burnt the wrap on top of it. It looks not great, but it is what it is for now. Speaking of lifting, we have more lifting on the bottom designs that I made from custom scratch. It wasn't even intentional. I end up making that design by default, and I thank God for that because that looks Marta Bella, but it is lifting in some parts. I don't know why. I'm guessing the primer failed. It is what it is. It's very frustrating. But like I said, the benefit of me wrapping it myself is that I can always go back and fix it myself. Then in the near future, I'm gonna have to rewrap the whole entire bumper with the proper primer, and that would be the proper solution. Moving on to the fenders. The fenders have chip on it. I don't know what exactly did that, but I think it has to do with me changing the hinges because that hit or that chip wasn't there before, which is weird. I honestly should have been more careful. I knew this could happen on the wrap and I just was careless and I chipped it. What can I say? I messed it up. Now the doors from both sides actually do have chips and scrapes that looks bad, but it's not really noticeable because it's not that much. But if you go into a show, people are definitely gonna notice that. I'm thinking if maybe I could cut like the edge of it and rewrap that edge. I don't know if you could do that or if it looked good. I don't know. What do you guys think? But that needs to be fixed. I tried, I just didn't try hard enough. Speaking of chips, the quarter panel also has a chip. I don't know when did that happen. It wasn't on my watch. I don't know if something fell on it because it also has scratches. I'm like, when did this happen? Like, I really don't remember, but it is there. It has another chip in the quarter panel. Now let's go to the rear for the Charge Speed polyurethane bumper. More poly, yay. So the top, again, it was lifting. I don't know why is it lifting because I honestly had no tension there. I make sure that I wrap that with no tension so it doesn't lift up, but again, the primer failed. It grabbed on nicely, but after a while, the primer failed. It lifted up and it's not grabbing on the actual bumper. What I did was I took off the lights again, I cut the edges, killed the memory, and then I painted what's left inside black because you can even see that with the taillights on. So I was like, okay, let me just put it black, no wrap, so it's not gonna lift, right? Wrong, it still lifted a few days later. Now the middle part, I did cut off and put an overlay on it because you can see it with the lights on, and the rear trunk is like lifted a little bit in the back, so you can see like the middle of the bumper. So I had to put an overlay. I did an overlay and it's still lifting for some reason. Again, like most of these problems are because I didn't use the proper primer, so I have to deal with what I got, you know what I'm saying? And then I was noticing that the bumper was sagging in the middle. Like I've seen that in other G's. I'm like, why is it sagging? Maybe they didn't take care of it, but now mine is starting to sag, and that's because of the sun. It turns into like wobbly stuff. So I'm gonna have to find out a way to get a clip like the OEM does, because the OEM has 2 clips in the middle to hold it up and nice and sturdy. So I'm gonna have to do that some way, somehow. I'm gonna have to do that. So, and again, more lifting in the design areas and the forged carbon. So that needs to be also heated again and re-put back to place in all the designs and kill the memory. See if that helps, you know, but it is what it is. Now let's move on to the trunk. Now the trunk is weird because this is not poly. I cleaned it up real nice, alcohol, detox everything, and I made sure that it was really squeaky clean, and still it's lifting. Actually, it has a major pullback, which I don't even know how that happened and why did it pull back so hard and so back. Because I remember wrapping that part and it had no tension whatsoever. So why would it pull back so much? Maybe because it was cold? I don't know. The wing for the trunk also got fixed, but when I fixed it, I didn't post heat it. Don't blame me, I just didn't do it. I forgot, you know what I'm saying? So now it's retracting a little bit more. I have to rewrap that part again for the 3rd time. Rookie mistakes, what can I say? Now the side skirts are sticking out. That's because the clips in the middle, they all broke. And then where they're supposed to be a you know, like a latch or whatever, so you could put like the pin and you could put it inside the body, that stuff is not out. It's not there. It broke off, you know, when I took off the actual side skirt. It's like that thing needs to be in the dumpster. Now they do sell another polyurethane side skirt, but I honestly don't want to deal with more poly. Now the ceiling wrap was scratched because I had both the front bumper and the rear bumper on the top of the car while I wrap. And then I did those 2 parts last. So, you know, when I was moving it and stuff like that, it did scratch the wrap on top. Now I don't know if I could heat it and that goes away, or I have to redo the actual ceiling again, which I don't mind because that's a 2-piece and I can make it in 1 piece in this time around because I have more experience. So that is it. This is what's wrong with my beautiful Nardo gray 1 of 1 G35 Coupe, but another wrapper. So listen guys, God bless. Separate up. Peace.